Alright lads, Guinness Guru Show episode 2. Hope you enjoyed the first one last week with Cowboy. Second episode, my guest is JOE McGUCKEN. You might know him from the Stall It podcast with Darren Conway. I personally am a huge fan. That was one of the main reasons I wanted to get him on. I've been following Joe for a good few years since he was doing the videos with the wind-up merchants. We filmed this video in Cusacks pub on the North Strand Road. It's actually Joe's local. Something to keep in mind is this was filmed a few weeks ago before I really knew what sort of the concept for the podcast was going to be. I feel like I possibly came across a little bit, I don't know, unsettled or even nervous, but I still think it was a great chat over a pint with a good friend. For reference, I'm gonna stick in one of my favorite sketches of Joe and the Wind-Up Merchants just before we get into the podcast. Apparently, if you lads go and review the podcast, give it 5 stars on Spotify and Apple, helps the algorithm, whatever the fucking algorithm is. And if you're watching it on YouTube, there's a little thumbs up button below the video. Just smash that thumbs up, guys. That's what the cool YouTubers say, isn't it? Smash that thumbs up, guys. Right, so here's a quick sketch of Joe and the Wind-Up Merchants, and enjoy the show. The sketch is called When Your Girlfriend Won't Let You Out with the Lads.
Is Daryl there?
Yeah, he is, but he's not going out.
Oh, why?
Why? Because he went out last night, he got knocked, and he came home and got sick all over himself.
Didn't get sick all over myself, don't mind that, Joe.
Daryl?
No.
He's not going out.
Oh,
Just let me out, will you? You never let me out anywhere to do anything.
I swear, we're just gonna go local, we're not even going far.
Yeah, we're only going up to the bridge.
Me and all the lads and everyone's going.
Yeah, except Daryl.
You never let me do anything. I swear it's like I'm in jail in this house.
Yeah, keep it up, Daryl.
Joe, she's like Hitler, she always has me in hell.
You're not going out for it now. You're not going out for a week if you keep her up.
Well, can all the lads come here and then we can all get locked in here?
Yeah, if you clean up first.
Cleaning up? I'm not cleaning up.
I'll even make sure he doesn't get too locked.
No. I'll even send you Snapchats to make you know that I'm alright.
And I'll make sure he only drinks half pints, even though the lads might say that he's a gaybo, and I'll say no, he's not.
Please.
Am I a parrot? What? Am I? I'm not budging on this. I'm not letting him go out. And Daryl, you want to shut up as well because you're 5 seconds to go up them bleeding stairs. 5,
Joe,
4,
she's counting, Joe.
3, 2.
Why don't you come too?
Why'll be the only girl there?
I'll bring my girlfriend.
Right, get your coat, you bollocks! Right there. Get me bag, get me coat, get me shoes, they're upstairs, get me makeup bag, don't forget your hair lacquer, and get me deodorant as well.
Joe, she's getting ready. Run.
Joseph George Michael McGuckin, I am gonna kill you and I'm ringing our girlfriend. Daryl Anthony Carter, don't fucking come back here tonight, you can stay in your ma's. Little swines. Oh, these little snakes. 2 little ticks, I was dying to get locked.
Mr. McGucken.
Are you well?
How are you?
How are you,
What's the crack? This is Kat, yeah?
How are you, Kat?
Nice to meet you.
Kat.
We're on from the get-go.
Are we?
Yeah.
What about the points?
Well, obviously get the points in. Are you,
tall man.
you're
So
like,
much taller
you run
than-
this pub, do you?
Oh, yeah, this probably.
Yeah. Do you wanna get them on then?
I'll get them on, yeah.
Stick that mic on there. Get all the action.
How you doing? Can I get 2 pints of Guinness, please? Yeah. Do you want a pint of Guinness, Kat? No? You driving?
2 points?
Yeah.
I wanted a Heineken.
Did you? Fuck off.
Jesus
Guinness
Christ.
Guru does cider.
Mix it up.
Where do you live?
I live in Coolock, but I'm from the flats just over there.
Yeah. Literally just across the road.
Yeah.
That's gas. And would you still come here?
Yeah, just give me along to yeah.
You sit down there, that's on top now today,
Yeah, sound nice
sound.
one. Nice one. Will I pay?
Cards,
Yeah.
Joe, I'll get them.
No, we'll get it.
No, you mad thing. Go on.
You can get the next ones.
No.
You get the next 10.
Yeah. No, sit down. Sit down.
Oh, go on, I'll tap it here. I'll have the card out.
Jesus Christ.
Nice ones.
Thank you.
You could have put up a fight. Jesus.
I'll have to get the next 40. How long do you actually film for?
The podcast,
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours.
Serious?
So much is
For
cut
like
out.
50 minutes?
So much is cut
There's
out.
so much in between when the music plays and it's just you saying random shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
obviously just from, like, that
Yeah.
wasn't good enough to go in.
No, well, I thought you would think maybe it wasn't that it wasn't good enough, but it's just too. Maybe we should just not put that in
Fair enough.
because it's pretty PG. So what's going on here? Why are you filming me?
Podcast. Do you know what a podcast is, Joe?
I've heard of it. I've heard of them.
So it's funny. This is how long this has taken us to do this. I messaged you well over a year ago.
Did you? Oh yeah.
And then you didn't see it because you're too cool for school,
Too ignorant.
too ignorant. But I think at that stage you were barely even using Instagram. I feel like you're using it more now because you have a bit more of a name. But anyway, then I was licking your arse a bit when I went to the live show and I put up a joke saying great show. Blah, blah. Then you wrote back and said, "Oh, I only seeing this message now. I'd love to come on the podcast." And that was actually a podcast I was doing last year, which was shite.
Right.
So that was only canned. So this is just the Guinness Guru podcast. This, as of now, haven't even released an episode.
Right.
So this is like, I think, the second one. But yeah, it is just funny how long it takes.
Because I seen that you were doing one with the guy from Hardy Books.
Yeah.
Is that
touch wood, that should be episode 1, but we had some technical difficulties because I went to do it by myself in the Gravediggers, and it was the mics and all, and it just wasn't. I didn't have an assistant.
Okay.
So you know yourself, you've got a producer, like, so you just rock in, shite on, and go. Whereas I was trying to do it by myself.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
Nice of you.
Beautiful.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Well,
So you were here before. You done
I was
a
here
you done a
about.
TikTok.
I was doing a video like.
The Crow Park series.
Yeah, Crow Park series, and I did. This is actually the first pub I came to, and it turned out the lad behind the bar had worked in a pub in Raheny about 2 years ago when I started doing Guinness Guru, and he goes to me, "You didn't give me a great review on the last place, but I'll forgive you." But to be fair, the pint here is lethal, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I love the
Are you a Guinness drinker?
Yeah.
You are?
I probably shouldn't say that. My podcast is sponsored by Smittix.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
And
man,
so
I
you're-
love a pint of Guinness.
So tell me now, like, what's your routine? Like, do you wait for it to go completely black? That's a bit of a debate often had, or do you just kind of?
I wait. Yeah, I wait. I mean, sometimes on the first point, I'm very excited,
Yeah.
and I just want to get straight into it.
I know.
Especially on a day like this when
So
it's
you're
hot.
like, I don't want to fucking talk on a podcast. I just want to drink the pint.
Yeah, I'm like, when do we start drinking?
Is that a pick?
Is it?
Yeah, so got a quick pick. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Send that to Smittix.
Turn the Guinness around, you mad thing. You won't get your sponsor.
Oh, fucking, that's a long way away.
Oh, there's one on the other side anyway.
I get a Smittix sponsor before I get a fucking Guinness sponsor. So yeah, you're a Guinness man.
So I'd wait for that to go black now.
To go black.
Yeah.
And it's,
See, I think, did you, correct me if I'm wrong, did you coin domage? Is that you? Is that your
yeah,
drink?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's insane.
Where did you hear it?
Well, everywhere.
'Cause there's unreal
Everyone-
domage on
Look
that.
at that domage. Like,
That is good.
There's nearly more domage than there is head on the bottom of the glass. Like, that's,
Yeah.
do you have a ratio?
What, like millimeters?
Like, that looks like
I'd say the
1
head-
to 2, like 2 to 1.
Oh right, I get you. Well,
you
they
know what
say
I mean?
the head like should be, here's fucking getting real nitty gritty, like between 12 and 18 millimeters. And they
Okay.
actually have this little device that I don't have, but it's like one of these weird ruler contractor things that measures it. But I would, yeah, no, that's a good frame of reference. Maybe 1 to 3. So like 3 mils a damage. We just sound like fucking idiots there. Just this is when I
The old
be
man
doing-
in the pub saying,
I
"Just
know,
fucking drink
I know.
the old."
Literally, like that's what I'm sure. I say people just scream at my videos, going, "Drink the fucking pint." Will you?"
Yeah.
Anyway, JOE McGUCKEN, welcome to the Guinness Guru podcast.
Oh, sláinte, man.
Cusacks.
Cheers.
Sláinte. Holy fuck.
That's a good point of Guinness, isn't it?
You know when it sits on the tash? It's a great pint of Guinness.
That was so nice.
No, when I came here last time, I was like, that is lovely.
Yeah.
So, Joe, one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on is because you're a bit of a grumpy bastard.
Oh, okay.
You love to, like, when I listen to your podcast, you just love to have a moan about stuff. So would there be anything in the sort of pub industry that would come to mind that would kind of, you ever just think you'd be, I don't know, would you be in a pub rat and you just think, fucking, what a load of bollocks.
I think my biggest pet peeve when it comes to a pub would probably be loud music.
Loud music.
Like, this is great.
Yeah.
When you come to a pub, you want to be able to have a chat. I think that's
Big
what
time.
a pub is about.
Yeah.
If you want to go and have a fucking dance, you go to a nightclub.
Big time.
So if you come to a pub and they're blaring loud music and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? I hate
And do you think that is anything to do with age? Not saying you're old, you're only a year or two older than me, but I definitely found back in the day all about going to the nightclub, all that sort of crack. Or have you always been old man at heart, just fucking give me the few pints during the day and I couldn't be arsed with the nightclub stuff?
No, because I used to like the nightclubs.
Yeah.
But I think there's a time and place.
What
like,
age does it switch for you?
for me to just be in pubs?
I'm right now, like, if I never went to the nightclub for the rest of my life, I'd be fine. So, like, what age would you say?
I think always. And always, like, you'd go pre-drink and you'd have the laugh, you'd have a bit of crack and you'd be like, oh, we're going into town, we're going to have a good night in town. And that's all chatting around the pub like this. Like, all the lads would come in, you'd be sitting around having a beer, having a bit of crack, slagging each other. And then you'd be like, right, now that's the talking part done.
Yeah.
Now we're going now we're well oiled and we're going into town for a little boogie.
Well, you still would be up for the boogie now?
Not really.
No.
No, I'd be out in the smoking area chatting.
Yeah.
Just
talking
looking for
absolute shy.
the quietest place to go to, yeah. That'd be me.
That's a lovely point.
That would be one of the things that bother me, and then the smell of the bathroom
In a nightclub?
in any pub. So another thing that annoys me about a pub is sometimes it smells like piss. If you go to the...
Not here though.
Not here, this smells like lemons in here. It's lovely. Sometimes it smells like piss.
Yeah.
And so they try to
Do you
cover
reckon
it
it
up.
has anything to do with because people are pissing in there?
I don't know, I never thought about that. Maybe, now that the penny is dropping, I think that does make sense. But I don't know, they try to overload the smell of it with like the lemon, I don't know, what are they that you put in the toilet?
I don't even know. I've heard about people eating them, but that's probably a whole different other story.
Eating them? Eating the little toilet,
like
toilet
fucking-
biscuits?
Biscuits, yeah. They're like little ice cubes for the toilet, aren't they?
Yeah. Some people
And
actually put ice.
the more you
ice
piss
cubes.
on them, the more it stinks of the place.
It's fun though, isn't it? Just pissing on them
it
and
is
seeing
fun.
them break away.
Yeah.
Just something to do when you're in there.
So I suppose I was thinking how to sum you up. I would say you are the definition, in terms of your career so far, believe me or don't believe me, I've been following you along years and years. And in terms of your career, I would say you're the definition of the term throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I don't know how to take that.
As in, that's what I always said I was doing, because you've tried so many different things.
Yeah.
And like the wind-up merchants, I would say stuck to a certain degree, and then now you've got the podcast, which is like kind of like, did you feel like you were trying for ages and now you've not made it, but because you can't really say that if you're from Ireland that you've made it.
Yeah.
But does it feel, did the podcast kind of like take you past a certain threshold and thinking like, right, all the work that has gone in, I'm finally here? Or are you always just a bit like, what the fuck am I at?
No, it doesn't feel like I've made it or whatever.
No.
It feels like, I get what you're saying about throwing shit at a wall and hoping something sticks, but this feels like one of the pieces of shit that I'm throwing as well. Like,
Right.
And it feels like, I don't know, it could fall off the wall at any point,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised or disappointed if it didn't, because everything that I do it with passion, and I do it because I want to do it. I'm not hoping anything comes out of it. I do it because I want to do it, and I always want to make something that I would like to watch or I would like to listen to.
Yeah.
Like I when I went into the podcast, I went in with the intention of making a podcast that I wanted to hear,
Right.
and nothing too heady or nothing too, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the same
definitely.
with the sketches, I wanted to make sketches that other people weren't doing and that I wanted to watch or whatever. So
Yeah,
I don't have an agenda going in. So the idea of making it like that, it never really sits right with me. But
Yeah.
maybe that's an insecurity I might have.
No, it's just like, it's probably because I'm a big fan of the podcast, so maybe in my mind it's like, because it's such a good podcast, and once anyone has a good podcast now, it's just like, right, you're solidified in sort of that sort of online thing, whatever. But like, Take me back to, like, I remember you saying you're doing videos since you're literally 14, 15, 16, doing skateboarding videos and all that. So, like, were you just always, like, I just used to be mad for, like, the GoPro. Were you always just mad for the camera and having the crack with it?
Yeah, I mean, even before 13, 14, I think it was like 8, 9, 10 when, like, Jackass came out and stuff.
Jackass, yeah.
So I was making Jackass videos with my mates around the area, like we were jumping into bushes or pushing trolleys down the street or wherever we were doing. Like, I was always, and then we'd burn them onto tapes and then duplicate the tapes and then sell them around the area. We used to go door to door, like we made a little name for ourselves. So that was before the internet.
When would this be, like 2000?
No, 19.
19?
1998.
You're not that old.
I'm 31.
Yeah, so you're born in what?
So
91?
I was born in 1990. So it would have been like,
So
that's
8 years
9.
old, dude?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur. Yeah. Fucking hell.
I just loved it, like, you know what I mean? It just kind of felt like being part of something, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? When you were with a group of friends and you were making something, you kind of felt like, oh, I'm part of
And
something.
were you the one who said, let's get the camera out? Because me and my mates would have been doing, every bunch of young guys doing stupid shit, but who was the one who said, let's record this and sell it?
That would have been, do you know the original Rude Boys?
Yeah?
The Neddy, the rapper out of it?
Yeah?
So he would have been the leader of my gang of
serious?
friends, like, yeah.
No way.
So he would have been, he's an entrepreneur. He's a little clever genius.
Right.
A marketing master is what he is. And even at an early age, he was like, we need to replicate Jackass. We need to sell these videos. Like, he's the entrepreneur. And that he does, he'll always find an angle at it. And you could even see that from a young age.
What are the original Rude Boys at now?
I don't know.
Do you still hang around with them?
Whenever, like, Neddy comes into the pub, I'll chat to him, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Serious
like,
tunes.
They were big for a long time.
They were huge.
Like, they were huge.
Like the biggest thing in Dublin, like 5-6 years ago.
And they done a whole lot for Irish hip hop. Like the Irish hip hop acts that you see now, I don't think they would be who they are if it wasn't for the original Rude Boys.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the first people you remember having the actual Dublin accent.
Yeah. And being a pop act and being commercial.
Yeah. Have a good gulp and then you should get it on the mic.
You should put that in a post.
The Guinness Gear gulp. I used to use these mics for the videos, and then some people would. It was like the fucking Marmite. Like some people would be like, that gulp is so disgusting because it literally sits there and like, boop boop. And then I switched to a mic on top, and then like you could barely hear me. So I said, well, it's either not hear me or else it's here, but you're getting all the gurglings and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. You'll have to cut it in the edit even.
Yeah.
Is everything all right? You're picking up all the audio?
I think so.
Yeah.
I knew he'd be sound with all that.
But just so
make sure that's. Might put it on the other side. Oh yeah, boy. Yeah. Nice little spin 1038 lanyard there.
Oh shit! Just boasting on. I hate wearing lanyards. It's like a dog tag only for just like corporate people.
I literally was saying it to Kat before, like she'd come home from work, because I'd never had to wear one. So I'd be like, in my mind, anyone who wears it, the second they step out of the building, it should be your first, this is psychotic thoughts, but your first thought should be to whip it off and put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
When you'd see lads like down the pub like 5 hours after finishing work and they still got it on, I'd be like, it'd be a big pet peeve for me.
Yeah, they wear it with pride. It's like, I used to come home from school.
Even though it's just a total, you're just working in some office down the road and it's just like...
You don't owe them anything, like you're a walking promotion for them as soon as you walk out of the building. It's a weird one.
So, then when did Wind Up Merchants start?
So, the Wind Up Merchants started... Okay, I'll try piece a little timeline together. So from the Jackass things, that group of friends kind of split up, but I wanted to continue making Jackass type videos. So I started hanging around with another group of friends, and then I started creating this thing called TDA, Total Dumbass, kind of spin-off thing.
Right.
Done the same thing, making videos, only this time it was DVDs. So much easier to burn the DVDs over and multiply them.
Yeah, how were you even just with the video? Like, how did that even work with the videos? How do you burn a video? I don't even remember that far back.
You'd have to copy it over in real time. So you'd have one VCR and you'd press play with the master tape in there and have that connected.
The big yoke, like?
Yeah, VCR. And
what are they sitting in?
Oh, so that's the VHS, and it's sitting in a VCR.
Yeah.
And then you press play, and then the SCART lead is going from that VCR into another VCR, and you hit record on that.
Holy
And then it would just have to record in real time. And
Wow.
then you do that for, I don't know,
Yeah.
days to have enough tapes to go around and
Jesus
sell them.
Christ. And then, right, so you're doing Total Dumbass.
Yeah, so I'm doing Total Dumbass, and then I'm really passionate down at that point about film and stuff, and I'm behind the camera and I'm trying to learn how to edit. And there was a guy that worked in the Chinese takeaway just across the road from here, and he was telling me about fire cables, like you have to get this fire cable to this, you need this port, and it was all very complicated at that time, because now you just take out an SD card and you pop it in and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But
And they
then
still managed to fuck it up, so I don't know what it would have been like back then.
it was very complicated. But from that, me mate, so one of my mates was David McDermott, who was in the Wind Up Merchants. So it's me, David, and Daryl Carter, who's in the Wind Up Merchants.
Yeah.
And before the Wind Up Merchants started, me, David, and Barry Keoghan, who lived in the flats that I live in. We made sketches together, and I just went on my personal YouTube page.
Right.
So we done that for a few years.
I was only watching one today. It was the one with Barry and David, like being junkies or something.
Robbing the bike or whatever. Yeah.
It literally says like 10 years ago. It's like they're literally only 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
So
but then that kind of stopped. I can't remember why that kind of came to a halt. And then I was trying to get David to make sketches for ages, for years. Like I'm saying, man, nobody is making high quality sketches on. It was YouTube at the time. You wouldn't even bother putting it on Facebook. But then our friend came back from Australia, and he's into filmmaking and stuff as well, and that's Rory Nolan.
Right.
So he convinced David. Now there was two of us that was able to kind of say, right, we just do this, man. We'll make the sketches, and he still wasn't really into it. So I was like, right, I'll just go in front of the camera, and then I'll be in the sketches.
Oh, so you started kind of directing, and then you said, right, fuck this, I'll actually be in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then he seen me doing it and was like, all right, okay, I'll do it. I'll jump in a sketch, I'll jump in a couple of videos. And then Carter came along then shortly after, and he was like, oh, if you need a hand with any of the videos, then I'll jump in there as well. And then we start making, that was the Wind Up Merchants. That's how we started the Wind Up.
And you have so many videos, like.
Yeah, there's loads.
I remember me and my mates always watching the videos, and like, your man Daryl is ridiculously funny, especially just doing that whole dub character, like the one where you're asking him to come out.
Oh yeah.
And then what's the girl's name?
Jen Hatton.
She's like, that's just one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
I
then
love it.
David, I would say, is like such a good actual actor.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Like,
yeah, he really is.
And it's like nearly like it was. If you were doing that now and putting that sort of stuff on the likes of TikTok, you should all be probably full-time wind-up merchants. But I feel like there was a lot of people came in that sort of, say 10 years ago to 5 years ago, where it was more long form, but now like you could make a sketch 5 minutes long and put 5 clips on TikTok and they could all get 10 million views.
I know, yeah.
So it's a bit of a mad thing, but it is interesting to hear that you are trying to get them to do a podcast, because I remember thinking like, these lads surely have a podcast by now. And then what happened with, who did Go Loud just come to you and say, do you and Darren want to do a podcast?
Go Loud went to Darren and asked him to do a podcast, but I had been talking to Darren as well about just kind of toying with the idea of doing a podcast. He done one by himself, he tried one by himself, and I tried one by myself as well, individually, kind of doing the...
Was this like agreed, like we'll do it ourselves, and then, or was this just purely you just tried it by yourself?
We just tried it by ourselves, and it's just really hard. It's
hard
to sit in a room and talk to
I've
yourself.
Say the podcast I would have asked you to come on the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do one by myself, and this is COVID, so I was like, I don't want to do anything over Zoom, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, do one by myself, and then one over Zoom, kind of with a guest. And the ones by yourself are literally like torture. Like, you've got the likes of Tony Cantwell and all doing it. I don't know how he does it, like, because but like, I suppose he just comes up with funny shit on the spot. Whereas I'd have a script in front of me, and you're just like, who am I even talking to? Because you can't picture it.
And who gives a fuck? Like, who cares about what I'm saying here?
And then like, Yeah, and then it gets to a point and you're just like, you stop and you go, this is shite. And then you're like, oh no, keep going. But it's just you, and there's no one else in the room.
I think you have to have huge self-confidence and maybe a big ego to be able to be confident enough to sit in a room and think that you talking by yourself is good enough or important enough for anybody else to listen to.
Like literally people to listen to and to get a sponsor and any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then, right, so this is pretty much just going to be like a Stala fanboy episode because
That's fine, right?
Yeah, I know.
Bring it on.
Yeah, so people who are watching it, if you don't watch Stala, make sure you do. But so yeah, you and Darren are just doing random stuff. Probably like, was that kind of during COVID when everyone was just bored out of their holes at home, or was that before? When you just done your own thing?
Me and Darren doing
No,
our own thing,
you said he went off and tried his own. You went off and tried.
Yeah, we just talked about this separately. Like I was like, did you ever try to do a podcast? And he was like, I tried it once and it wasn't for me. Like just doing it by himself. And I was like, I done the same thing. We should do one together. Like, and we were like, yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about. But it wasn't until Darren does the manager of Go Loud reached out to Darren and asked him if he wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah, because they've just started fucking a heap of podcasting last year, haven't they?
Yeah. Get in. Just like a big van that pulled up and said, get in. You have a podcast now.
Yeah, literally. And so, like when you were going to do, say, the first episode, I feel like you don't have any notes.
No.
So like, how do you, like that's something I'm trying to do is, because I do feel like, and you probably notice yourself, if you're with someone and you're constantly like looking down at something, it's a bit like, for the guests, it's just like, well, you're not even fucking listening to me. Because you keep looking, like when I'm probably doing, I go, I just have random stuff written there. But then you also don't want to forget any good stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you have just found this perfect duo where you do like 70% of the talking, you just shite on. And then, well, not anymore, more at the start, and then especially with the live show, but it works so perfectly because you're a chatty lad, like, and you'll just shite on and tell stories. And Darren just chimes in with the most random shite, and it's like, whenever you start to get too deep into something or too serious, he'll just go, oh, your ma. And then it's just, you would think that's shit, but it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
So you just walk in there and like, does producer Owen say something like, oh, what about this? Or do you literally just go, oh, fucking, do you like my t-shirt? Like, how does it start?
It literally starts by Owen pressing record saying, okay, off you go. And then I say, okay, how are you doing? What's the crack? Welcome to episode 57 of the Stala podcast. And then Darren will say something that will fucking spark off the top of my head. And it's just like a state of flow that you can get into. And it can be hit and miss. Like that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like some episodes will be better than other episodes. And if you're having a bad day, then you won't feel creative. You could be tired, and it'll be a difference.
And is there ever like moments where because it really comes across like there's not, but is there ever moments where it's a bit like, so what are we talking about now?
Yeah, we're always going for smoke breaks. And we go out for a minute and think about what we're going to talk about.
Fair enough,
like, I mean, Owen hates us because they really want us to do homework and have notes and know what stories we want to tell coming in. But literally, if he says something, like today he said, oh, it's like a roller coaster, and I was like, I have 3 stories about roller coasters, like can I tell them? And we only have a half an hour left. But there was a roller coaster down in Tremor, I don't know if you remember, it was a rickety L, it was like it was made out of Connects.
Little wooden yoke, was it?
Yeah, it was a crap yoke, but it would go up and then it would drop at the top, I guess the inertia was supposed to bring it back up on the other side, but it would always get stuck. And there'd be a man that had to climb the ladder and he literally had to give it a little push every time.
So what would you give the pint out of 10?
As I kind of drink down,
it's
kind of a bit,
I will say,
not as creamy as a...
Where I'll say we are taking our time, and I think the longer if you take 20 minutes to drink a pint, the score will be a lot lower. Like when I do my video, like when I would have done the video here, I'd literally drink the thing in about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it just stays ridiculously fresh.
How many Guinness would you have in one sitting?
In a sitting or like a video?
A sitting. If you went to the pub, how many pints of Guinness would you have on a regular?
See, it's much different now because it's like I'm doing the videos, and I might do like a video if it was pints of water, I could do a video every day.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's pints of Guinness. It's like you have to sort out transport. You're not trying to be a fat cunt, so it's like you have to be careful with it. So I drink way less on the weekends now than I would have before, because so say I did one video a week and I might go around to different towns and I might have 4 pints or 5 pints. I'd rarely go down out on the weekend and have 10, 12. But like back in the day, before I was doing any of this, with like I came up in a real rugby culture. So like you're talking, finish the match at like 3 o'clock, and without trying to be Billy Big Balls, you're easily getting through like 10, 12, 14 pints before you even go on to, because you're there for like 8 hours and you're having a pint every 20 minutes, and it's just
20 minutes.
I'd say so, yeah.
That's some good going.
Because like there'll be lads there. Some of these rugby lads are just freaks. They'll be out lads and they'd be out 3 nights a week just swapping pints. And the thing would be like your pint would be there, and there'd be a big round, and it wouldn't matter if it was full and none of this like, no, I'm all right. There'd be a pint put in front of you, and then there were kind of unwritten rule was if you were double parked, you kind of had to drink that one. Or if you were triple parked, you had to drink that. You could only really have 1 pint in front of you. Or if you were trying to leave and then someone put another one in front of you, you couldn't go. And that was all before you even started on the fucking shorts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But what would like?
I don't even know. Like, when you actually take stock of how much you drink, you kind of say, hang on.
It's definitely a lot more when I was younger. Would you say the same?
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Like
yeah.
I can't remember the last time I drank over like 10 pints.
Yeah.
It'd be years ago. But back in the day, that was every Friday and Saturday.
If we were going into town to a pub before going to a nightclub, we'd even pre-drink before going to the pub.
Back in the day?
Back in the day,
oh, yeah. Sure, you need a bit of...
You'd have like 6 cans and a naggin of vodka or something before
like,
going out to the pub. Like,
you wouldn't dream of going into a social setting sober.
I know,
because you'd have to spend your absolute bollocks to get drunk.
Yeah.
And the aim of the game was to get drunk.
Yeah.
Before anything else.
Yeah.
So like you'd have your... Yeah, we might literally have the 6 cans and a naggin or whatever. Then you might go pub for a pint or 2, and then you'd be like, this is shite, there's no birds, no tunes. And then you go into a nightclub and you'd be going 3 Jaeger bombs for a tenner was the standard. You go in with 20 quid and you think, right, I can get probably 3 Jaegers, a few chicken nuggets and a taxi home. Yeah. 8 of us in the taxi home, and then within about 10 minutes you've bought 6 Jaegers. And you're having a fucking penny to your name. Just going around like scabbing smokes and then waiting for a taxi till about 6, 7 in the morning.
I had a friend who had, so you get a Jaeger bomb, you drop the Jaeger in a shot glass into the glass of Red Bull, and then you knock it all back. Yeah. I had a friend who, it was a glass shot glass, and when he knocked back the glass shot glass and then broke his tooth.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Where was that?
So it has like half tooth. I'm not sure where it was. I think it might have been Reds. I don't know if you remember Reds on O'Connell Street. No. You used to go in there and you used to get like, they used to make their own fat frogs using like Bacardi Breeze, or they used they used to mix 3 drinks. I do. And then you get like 2 points, but it'd only be like a 5 or something like that.
I remember there was a place. It was called the Vortex out in. I'm a Mead man, like, so. Okay. I'm from Ashburn, and there's a place called Dunshaughlin. It was like this country club, but it was this big nightclub called the Vortex, and you get like that. If you got in before, I think if you got in before 11, drinks were literally like 2 quid. If you got in before 10, drinks were like 2 quid.
For the
night? No, like
up
at the time.
Okay.
So we'd literally get in there at like 5 to 10, even though it was very early to be going into a nightclub. We'd literally go up and they had Fat Frog, which was like that, a load of different shit mixed. Yeah. And then they had a thing called Skittles, which was about €15, but it was about 10,000 shots in it. Yeah. And you would just go up 5 to, you'd be like, come on, get in, quick, fuck, or else the drinks are going to go up like a €5. So you'd literally get 4 pints of Fat Frog and just let them sit there. And you go off for a beer, you come back, have a sip, and that's you for the night. And it would cost you about a tenner.
Looking back now, do you think that's a mad mentality to have? you think it's I know at the time you're young and you're just looking to have a good time or whatever, like, but do you think?
I don't know, I think you just don't give a fuck, like, you're like 17, 18, 19. Do you mean like what, it's like has long-term effects on you and stuff?
Not long-term effects, but I don't know, I just think the relationship with, I've kind of had to relearn my relationship. You probably heard me talking about it on the podcast. I don't even know if I talked about it on the podcast or if I did.
Well, I've listened to every episode, but go on.
I was talking about relearning my relationship with alcohol and stuff, and I come from a background where it's like drink to excess. If there's free drink there, you drink as much as you can.
Yeah.
You drink as frequently as you can. You drink as cheap as you can. And like you said, the objective is to get as drunk as possible. Like, is the objective wrong? Like, should the objective not to be just to be like have as much fun as you can? Like,
Yeah, I don't know if I would say back in the day it was get as drunk as possible, but like being sober was like my biggest nightmare. Do you know what I mean? So you were trying to get that, but I suppose now, now when you go to a nightclub, like if you go to a nightclub, you're kind of like you're trying to get a certain amount of drunk, but that you won't be. You can have a bit of crack, but you won't be that fucked the next day. But I suppose when you're younger, the hangovers aren't really there. When we were drinking, we were drinking like fuck, but it was like once you got a certain amount of drunk, you just fell asleep or you got sick and that was it. Whereas I think that might be the outlet in me, but I still think that's a better mentality than like getting into drugs at fucking 16, 17, 18 and like them like ruining your life. Even though alcohol can ruin your life, but I don't know, it just seemed like much more innocent times.
Yeah.
But like when you were younger, was there like was everything just on the table?
No, for me, no. I think only more recently, like everything was always around, but not in my circle of friends. It wasn't really a thing. Weed. Bath salts became popular at a certain point, but I never got involved in that. I was never.
People just sniffing it. I never even heard that was a drug.
Really, bath salts?
Yeah.
Like all the head shops around town would sell bath salts.
Yeah.
But you'd sniff it and it would get you high. Burning people's brains out, like, and doing serious, like, fucking irreparable damage to the inside of their skulls and shit. Like, but that's what people were doing that, but I wasn't doing that, and most of my friends weren't doing it anyway either. Like, it's only more recently cocaine and stuff has become more prevalent in society. Like, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I should set on the record.
We gotta do a bump.
You happy out?
Happy out, yeah.
Yeah. Did that get heavy there towards the end? Do you want to keep it lighter? Are you happy enough?
I'm to be honest with you, Joe. It's like I'm still
feeling it out.
Still feeling it out. Just fucking, we just go wherever it's going. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
Right, lads. Thanks for watching / listening. Make sure you go and listen to the Stall It podcast with Darren and Joe. Go check out some of the old Wind Up Merchants videos, sketches on YouTube. I personally find them hilarious. And like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Yeah. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star rating. I have a plane flying over the apartment right now, but we go raw, we're not cutting it. Thanks for tuning in. We've got some great guests coming over the next few weeks, like Mr. James Haskell, Mr. Owen McGee, Connor Moore, Mr. Protein Boar, Shut Up Plane, Yeah Bollocks. Sound, lads, we'll see you next week. Fucking down here.